Hey everybody, how's it going? It is a beautiful day out here in Whistler, Blackcomb, and lucky for me because I'm riding a new board I've never ridden before, the Korua shapes, Pin Tonic. And I'm riding this board today with the Now Dry bindings and the 32 TM2 boots. So as you can see, this board is characterized with a long pointy nose and a pintail, and it's got camber through the back 2/3 of the board and then a long rockered out nose. It also has a 20mm setback, so the stance is set back 20mm just to help it float through the snow, and it has a taper as well. This one is 32mm and then the 74 is 28. So a pretty good taper. This board comes in two sizes, the 64 and the 72, but something to think about with this board is that the actual length of the contact points, which is the part of the board at the nose and the tail that are in contact with the snow while you're riding, is not that long compared to the length of the board, because you have this nice long nose here, and then of course with the pintail, part of that sticking out the back too. An average side cut on most snowboards is around about 7 meters, whereas both the boards are over 8. So again, nice big cruisy carves through the snow and just keeping your speed going from edge to edge. So according to the website, Korua actually designed this to be like a longboard. So it's got good float, really nice balance under the body. It's really nice edge to edge. It keeps its speed really well. One of the things you notice with this board is that it has a different feel to it, a slightly different ride. There's a little bit of delay in initiating your turns. Outside Whistler here, we're in the middle of a big powder storm coming through. There's at least a couple of feet out in some parts of the mountain that are untouched, especially seeing as a lot of the Alpine wasn't open yesterday. So today got up into 7th Heaven Zone on Blackcomb, out into some of the bowls, and this thing can move. And Korua makes some fast boards. I don't know what they do to their base here. Granted, it did just come out of the shop all tuned up. Probably needs to go in again. Yeah, this board is really good in powder. You can see all the different things are kind of lining up just to give it really good float with that taper setback and just huge nose, small tail. But when you do pick up speed in the powder, then it definitely loses a little bit of the stability. Didn't find that I had to change my weight around at all. Just really comfortable, centered on the board, letting the boat do its thing and just keep me above the snow. But it's not really designed for that anyway. When you get into that medium and slower speeds in the powder, really good float, really good glide. So a lot of sections that I was accessing, and I was the one that was doing the busting through across into some new powder zones away from the tracks. And then getting into the powdery trees, this thing definitely did a lot better than I thought that it would. My go-to daily driver is the Korua Shapes Transition Finder, which I love, but that is a pretty steep board. And I do appreciate that this one feels a little bit softer. That board being super stiff through the trees can be hard to maneuver around and push through, especially in this really heavy snow that we generally tend to get up here in BC. This one is definitely a little bit more forgiving. Might even be less camber, but for sure it's not as stiff through the board. Although there is a little bit lost in the initiation into the turn, it's super pliable, and I find it quite easy to whip the tail around, navigate tight spaces, open spaces, yeah, all the things that Whistler could throw at me. Yeah, and with that camber in the back, you can still feel that pop coming off, but it is delayed, especially compared to the Transition Finder. Soft, supple landing, even landing on the tail, it's got some give to it too, so it's not just gonna hit and then basically knock you out the side. And with that really big long nose too, landing in the powder, I found it was just great. Landing in there and then piercing through, planing out, and then you keep going. Switch riding on this thing, As it is a directional board, you do feel when you go switch, it feels different, but not as different as some boards that I've tried. As it does have a slightly longer nose, which isn't as aggressive as the tranny finder. It is a little bit softer in initiating turn switch than the transition finder, which is good because that will just kind of grab the front of your board and really pull you into it. And with any Korua board, pretty excited to get this thing out carving, so head up some of the slightly firmer groom runs, even though there's still a powdery bunch of bumps and undulations on there, so a little bit harder to get in the real rhythm of carving, but you can definitely feel leaning into that carve, that little delay on the initiation, and with that big side cut radius, just leaning in, grabs the board and takes you on a nice long trip to the far side of the run before coming back. A little bit getting used to that longer side cut. I think it's just finding the right speed and the right angle slope that you can really make it work. Yeah, definitely more suited for that more moderate terrain where you're just going medium speed and just cruising like there ain't no care in the world, which is how I felt riding this. And I would say that the person this board is designed for is somebody that wants one board for all over the mountain, still wants to get a bit of responsiveness out of their board with that camber, but is just liking that mellow, cruisy stuff. Doesn't need to go and do some crazy double black rock chutes, just want to find that big open powder field and just start laying in some big carves. So overall, really impressed with the board. Was definitely a bit surprised with the way that it rides, but after a few laps, I felt at home on it, no problem at all. Definitely suits my type of riding, and having the smaller board, I would probably go for a 72, but this one still had really good float and a little bit more nimble, of course. I'm definitely spoiled here for conditions for trying out this board, but it just suited them perfectly. If you guys have tried this board, would like to hear what you thought of it, especially if you tried it on some harder snow, because everything is just so soft around here. It's powder everywhere. Awesome, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be trying as many Korua shaped boards out as I can over the next week and putting up reviews on all of them. So if you guys are interested, make sure you stick around, check them out. Awesome, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and share this with your friends if they are Korua shaped fans. And I will see you in a new video soon. Bye.